On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
It can determine, the relationship on how they act towards you. But boring personality, I don't know. Because I'm thinking about, well, what if he's a librarian and loves just being in a librarian, want to teach you the Dewey Decimal System? That might be boring to me.
I don't think we should just assume all blue collar men are all red collar. So I definitely agree. We shouldn't just assume their conversations are going to be.
You can't assume, but there's personalities tend to go to different things. So again, like a politician, they might be really, really interested in this, and if I'm not and they are, then that would affect our conversation. Like if I'm into computers and you have no idea, and I love building them and I want to talk about it, and you have not a clue what an SSD drive is.
I don't see a difference, but there are different types of people. I don't see a difference in frequency. Let me say that.
Got it. Okay, cool. Yeah. I just wanted to get y'all experience.
I think dudes do feel some kind of way like when you're with other girls, though. Like when we're out and it's a lot of girls, like they do like, wait for you to go to the bathroom or wait for like everyone to start dancing where they can just come in your space.
How I just described it.
But that's in a particular environment.
But are they intimidated?
I don't know if they're intimidated.
I don't know if it's intimidation.
It's not intimidation. It's just the rejection.
Like a dude is approaching a woman based on how she looks.
The majority of communication is body language. How you look, how you dress. You can't tell if somebody is looking a little bit more professional or successful based off of how it is that they look.
Listen,
is that what you telling me?
Listen.
Can we go back to the original question, because I have heard men say on different platforms.
I wanted to answer that. Yeah, I wanted to answer the question.
I have heard. Hold on a second. I have heard different men say they wouldn't want a woman making more than them because they've seen how sometimes if a woman makes more, they kind of will harp on that or use that against them in some features, and some men might feel like, as a provider, as an alpha, it is my job to provide to my wife and to be making X amount of dollars. So I have heard that on certain platforms. So both of y'all are right. There are some men that get intimidated, some don't. That's more of an insecure issues, but there has been times when women kind of use it against you. Like, that's why I make more than you. That's why you're a bum.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what...
But that's what Rilla was saying. We're not talking about the sum, and we're not talking about the minority. When we speak on this panel, we're speaking in generalities, right? So we're talking about majority or overwhelming majority. So are the overwhelming majority of men intimidated by successful women? That's the question. We're not talking about how a woman look when she comes out, if she dressed to the nines, if she's in a club setting, or if she's at a social setting, or if she's at an opera. We're not talking about that.
Yeah,
hey, Rilla, with all due respect, I was just curious if some women are. It wasn't the majority on this one. It was
see, it's some.
Well, I'll agree with you, Rilla. I do not think men are intimidated by successful women. And when I'm saying success, because success can look different to a lot of people, but I'm just going to assume we're talking about their career-wise, and they're going up the corporate ladder and making more money than their counterpart. I don't think men are necessarily intimidated by that. I think they would champion their woman being successful. I think the problem comes is, how does she act when she does become successful? So when she does, like Hugh said, what you heard some men say, and even Rilla talking about the masculinity of it all, they don't want to hear it being thrown in their face. They don't want to hear, I make more than you. And it's like, and unfortunately, when you do go up to these levels of success, if you're talking about corporate, as a woman, you do have to take on some masculine roles in corporate America to be successful. You do have to be a little bit more aggressive. You do have to be, not as meek or as poised as one might want a woman to be, because you're fighting with other men. So you have to be on their level. So success does carry a weight of masculine traits. So, but the thing is, can you take that off when you get home? Can you be that woman that I want you to be when you get home? And sometimes for a lot of women, it's hard to turn it on and off. So it's not the success of the woman, it's the characteristic traits that you have to be successful, and then taking that shit back home to your man.
Hey, can I get on this? Because I Rilla bought it up earlier, but he got derailed because he bought it up masculine. And then Courtney kind of spent around, and she did a good job on that though. But when you're talking about success for women, it's two types of success. You got a feminine type of success. They say they taking care of kids, they taking care of home. I can look at that as a successful woman. And the other is masculine success, because with masculine come power, right? And you give that woman power, it will become intimidating, because they will go above and beyond. I done seen it too. If you ever been in the military, the worst leaders in the military is female leaders, because they always trying to prove something. They always, because they know they're not the fastest, so they got a chip on their shoulder. So in the aspect of the feminine woman, no. If you have that feminine energy, that feminine success, a man is not intimidated by you. He's attracted to that. But if you have that masculine success, which comes with power, then guess what? Yes, a man will be intimidated. You know what I'm saying? Especially if he on your level. If he above your level, he has no reason to be intimidated. That's it.
I kind of want to switch it up a little bit. We stay on the same topic, but different angle at it. Let's talk about the conversation aspect of it. And I want to start off by asking the women this question. Does a man's job, let's say he's blue collar, determine his conversations? Does a man's job determine his conversations? So there was, I was speaking with somebody, and they were just saying that somebody that's successful, the conversations were different. They was able to engage more and so forth. And that's just her opinion. But then when she dated blue collar guys, it was like they reached a ceiling at some point. They didn't really have too much to really talk about. The job wasn't interesting and so forth. So I'm gonna start with the women. Does the job determine have anything to do with you guys dating him?
No. To me, no, because I've dated both. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So you dated who?
I said no, because I've dated both types.
Oh.
No, I don't think that matters. Like, success looks different in people's eyes. So, I mean, I'm more focused on how he's treating me, how he treats, what's his goals are, and how he is, not his job. Like, no.
I was going to say something similar, that I think that his conversation more so is based on like how he was raised and what he's been exposed to since then. Not necessarily his job. Because, just because you're a plumber doesn't mean that you don't have any concept of finance or art or culture, other things. Like, you could be exposed to that. You could have been, artistic as a child and know, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's based on your exposure, what you expose yourself to, and it's based on your interest to want to know more and to have those conversations. If you don't have an interest in that, then the likelihood of you having like the conversation always kind of growing maybe won't be there. But I don't think it's based on your job. I think it's based on your exposure.
Okay. What about you, Kay?
I think that it is definitely based on a lot of other things. I don't think your job, like if you're a person, and I know these types of people where your personality is your job and that's like all you talk about, then I could see how someone might like measure it that way. But for me, absolutely not. For some people, their job is just their job. And then they have other things that they do that they're interested in, that they think about or whatnot. So no, I do not think that someone's job determines how interesting they are. I think that people with any type of job can be extremely interesting or not. You could have the most interesting job in the world, but if you're not like easy to talk to, you're not interesting to talk to, people won't care.
Okay. I think all the ladies answered that question, right? Y'all did? Everybody?
I didn't.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
the question, I was having a pee right moment. I'm sorry.
A
little shaky for a second.
No. The question I asked was, does the job have anything to do with who you're dating when it comes to a man being successful? So say he's successful, he's having different type of conversations, you're more interested. Does that matter if he has a blue collar job? Is the same type of conversations happening? Do you get bored?
Oh. Well, no, I don't think it necessarily matters as far as the type of job that you have, and does it dictate maybe your personality and the conversations that we can have per se. But I do think that there are some occupations that a person has to have a particular personality for. So let's just say you have to have a particular personality to be a police officer. And with that personality and what you see and how you're going to bring that home, it does dictate a lot of stuff that might happen, our conversations in the home. He might be a little bit over possessive or overprotective of me because he's been out there in the streets. So it can determine, the relationship on how they act towards you. But boring personality, I don't know. Because I'm thinking about, well, what if he's a librarian and loves just being in a librarian, want to teach you the Dewey Decimal System? That might be boring to me.
I don't think we should just assume all blue collar men are all red collar. So I definitely agree. We shouldn't just assume their conversations are going to be.
You can't assume, but there's personalities tend to go to different things. So again, like a politician, they might be really, really interested in this, and if I'm not and they are, then that would affect our conversation. Like if I'm into computers and you have no idea, and I love building them and I want to talk about it, and you have not a clue what an SSD drive is.
I think a job and a career are also different. Like just a job, right? A career that you are building that has a plan, that has a strategy, that's going to be over time. It definitely, now that I think about it a little bit, it definitely will consume a good part of your life.
It does.
And your conversations. Like when you get home, honey, how was your day? And then I can actually recall like someone that was a nurse that they came home and every single day, the conversation is about something that happened at the hospital. I swear to you. So when you have, but that's, he led a department of people, and like, it's 5 a.m. to, you know what I mean? When it's your whole life and it's your career, and it's like, that's a little bit different. But you said a job, so it's like I'm thinking like, oh, you go clock in, you clock out,
like clock in,
right? And you go do your hobbies, and you go play basketball with your friends after, and you know what I mean. Y'all go get, that's a little maybe different.